Now, for those of you who switched on to get a fix of Nick Batsford and got me instead, the good news is he did pre-record an interview with David Rose, the CEO of Gust, a New York-based company. And Nick started the interview by asking him to tell us what Gust does.
Gust happens to be the world's largest equity funding platform. We are actually building the infrastructure that connects all of the world's startup entrepreneurs with all of the world's early stage investors. And we've been doing this for a while, so we are both the oldest and the biggest, but we don't get a lot of press. So we've been quietly building our infrastructure. At this point, Gust has over literally 500,000 startups on our platform and over 50,000 accredited early stage investors. And we are the official platform that is used to power the online collaboration, application, and investing operations of about 80% of the world's business angel networks. So we are the official platform for the Angel Capital Association in the United States, the National Angel Capital Organization in Canada, the equivalents in Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, Scotland, Norway, Finland, Spain, France, Portugal, Turkey, Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Italy, Africa, the Nordics. We're also the platform for EBAN, European Business Angel Network, Business Angels Europe, and a lot of other folks out there. What's different about Gust from some of the other platforms you may have heard is that we've taken a very long view and a larger view. We are building the infrastructure that connects all these players. So instead of thinking of us as a matching service for business angels, think of us as the long lifetime tools platform that's used by startup companies to connect and communicate and find and work with their early stage investors.
Wow, well that all sounds like as if it's all in the fast lane. How have you managed to keep yourself under the radar then?
Because we haven't been taking out lots of ads, we don't try and get lots of press stories. You actually found us, which is cool. So we figured that there's a wonderful saying in the United States that your actions shout so loud I cannot hear what you say.
Boom,
so
boom.
we have just been quietly building the platform. But that being said, in the industry, actually the first people to recognize what we were doing were EBAN, the European Business Angel Network. And so in 2011, EBAN awarded us the Breakthrough Platform Service of the Year. Since then, the U.S. Software Information Industry Association, which does the annual CODI Awards, those are like the Oscars for software, in 2012 named us the Best Collaboration Platform. And we won that again in 2013 and again in 2014. And then in last year, we introduced our hub, which I'll talk to you about, and that won it again in 2015. And then speaking about the UK, a couple of years ago when the UK decided that it was going to try and jumpstart activity happening in London's already active startup world, they came to New York with the Prince and a double-decker bus and the Prime Minister, and kicked off something called the Great Tech Awards to find those companies in the US that they most wanted to move to the UK to establish their European headquarters in the UK. And guess which company they picked as the FinTech company for the first Great Tech Award? That was us. And so that's why we moved our European office to London, and it's been love at first sight ever since.
Understood. So what's Tech London initiative for?
Well, that was one of the things that came out of the whole Great Tech Awards and working with folks throughout the UK. London, Tech.London is a very special thing. It's a platform that connects all of the startup world in London. So as I mentioned, we're building this infrastructure platform which connects startups and the community and environment and ecosystem around them. So the first place we did this was in our home city of New York. And so we built something called digital.nyc. So digital.nyc was the first comprehensive platform for an entire city that pulled together everything in the startup world, all the startups and all of the investors and all of the events and blogs and videos and jobs and workspaces and tweets and news stories and everything resourced, everything you could think of. And this was unveiled by the mayor of the city of New York just over a year ago. One of the results of which was that in a survey last summer, Accenture named New York City as the most innovative technology center in the world because of digital.nyc. And so when we won the Great Tech Award and set up offices in the UK, London, with its extraordinarily exploding tech scene, especially in financial technology, was the next logical place. And so we then worked with the Mayor of London, Boris Johnson, and fielded Tech.London. And both of these are public-private partnerships between the mayors, Mayor de Blasio in New York and Mayor Johnson in London, and us as the platform operator and developer, and IBM, which has graciously sponsored and funded both platforms. So this is IBM's contribution to the whole smart cities ecosystem. And so it's a three-way public-private partnership, and Tech.London brings together everything in London. So we've got a full-time editor in London. We have APIs that bring in information from dozens of different sources. We have thousands of startup companies and investors. And so if you want to know what's happening in the startup scene in London, Tech.London is the place to go.
Understood. So in terms of what type of companies could we expect to be the main target of investors in 2016?
What you're seeing now is the world that has changed from technology for technology's sake to technology as an amplifier. And so in the original early days, tech companies meant computer companies or networking companies or things that made chips or things in laboratories. Now what we're seeing is technology applied to everything. Hyphen tech. So New York and London are frankly capitals of the world of what we call hyphen tech. Financial technology and advertising technology, food technology, and so on and so forth. So I think what we're going to see in the coming year is tech, and that is the internet and connectivity and mobile applications and the like, applied to a wide variety of things. So you're clearly going to see Internet of Things, which is a connected world. You're going to see the sharing economy. You're going to see financial technology, the kind of stuff we're doing. You're going to see a whole host of technology applied to areas that were not previously considered tech.
Understood. And just to wrap up, let's say I'm an entrepreneur, I want to basically raise investment through Gust. Do you basically take a percentage of my company, or is there a sort of up sum payment effectively?
No, because we are building an infrastructure platform and will eventually offer lots of tools and services to startups, there's no charge for being on Gust, and so we would encourage every startup to create a profile on Gust. So think of Gust as a tool set which you use to work with business angels, independent angels, angels in groups, organized angels, early stage venture capital funds. You create a profile on Gust, which has both your public information that you're willing to share with everybody so people can search and see your public story. And then you have all your private information, your business model, your business plans, your financials, things like that, which you can keep confidential until you provide access to that to a business angel or venture capitalist. And Gust is the tools platform that allows you to do all that.
That was David Rose, the CEO of Gust, with lovely Nick, who we miss and look forward to seeing soon. So last bit of the show, I wanted just to share some of the numbers which came through from a report issued yesterday evening. It is a sizing of the alternative finance and crowdfunding market in the UK called Pushing Boundaries. I think it's probably the best set of numbers that any of us can get hold of in terms of the market data and how it's growing. And it's done by Nesta in conjunction with the University of Cambridge. It's a repeat of a report that was done 2 years ago. And what makes it, I think, more credible and unique is that the platforms themselves have disclosed their data. And it's obviously an academic piece of work. It's not a question of some platforms have paid for the results and others haven't. So a couple of quick stats to leave you with before we finish tonight, given that we opened by talking about IFAs and how unadvisable all this CDIS investment was. So equity crowdfunding was sized at 84 million in 2014 and has grown to an incredible 332 million just in the course of the last year, with real estate being by far the fastest growing sector that's in there. And I think what's also interesting is the average raise size has gone from just below 200,000 to over 500,000. I think that's an indication of the scale of raises and ambition, but also the profile and maturity of the companies that are raising money this way. In fact, the 15 largest deals that raised money through equity crowdfunding in 2015 added up to 37 million in total. So that's a sizable amount of money coming through now. In fact, in relation to the BOHAS data, it's more than 15% of the seed and early stage venture money invested in the UK has come through an equity crowdfunding platform. So happily, a lot of uptake and demand there in the market with or without the financial advisors. So those investors who feel confident enough to make their own decisions about where they put their money are doing so, and it's growing very rapidly indeed. We've also had our first 2 exits in the course of last year. Naturally, the market is still very young. We need a lot more data to see what's happening, but watch this space. And we're very excited about equity crowdfunding and hope that in due course I will change the minds of Paul and Paula, as I discussed it earlier on. It can be a very exciting thing to do with your money and get access to investment opportunities that used to be the proviso of those who were already rich enough in the first place.